Hey everyone, it's James at geometricharts.com. About 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. First of all, the video is not investment advice. And then second of all, I pointed this out in my prior videos. Even on the daily chart, we are still kind of operating at the same frequency. You have to go to the daily chart, though, to see it in these moves, that they literally are producing very, very similar movements, frequency-wise. And to me, that's a pretty big red flag. So, again, we busted through the first downtrend line that I talked about in my prior videos, and I figured that this would lead to a pretty big move in Bitcoin. It led to a pretty good daily run, but that's about it. Other than that, there's just not a lot of strength behind this move, and if Bitcoin can get above this top right here and trade above it, which is about like 4,300, we'll just round it up on Bitfinex. If it's able to break above that and actually hold trading above that range, that would be a positive sign for Bitcoin, as I think it's going to migrate its way up to the secondary line, which sits about like 4,600 roughly on Bitfinex. So that's a pretty good move from this zone. But we're still in the same toppy range that we have been for a very long time. We're still under the bearish momentum that we've had since the 20,000 top under the backside. So, it's not looking too good for Bitcoin. Now, we are going into the weekend, and I think if Bitcoin can hold this zone, it would be positive, like above where it's currently trading now. So basically staying above 4,150 Bitfinex, possibly, like better yet, like 4,200 Bitfinex, I think would be a positive sign. But if it's unable to do that and we start reverting back lower, then I'm afraid that what we have is just a weak reaction to the prior top in the charts. And that top is roughly, or that top is 4282 on the Bitfinex chart. So again, there's a lot of similarities between this and 6,000. The fact that it's operating on the same exact frequency, I think just says volumes right there. There's been a lot of volume coming into the market. But now we're going into the weekend, so I imagine a lot of that's going to wash out and not stay there in the market. And if, again, we're not pumping upward, then I do think we are starting to get very close to a toppy area. I've noticed some bearish momentum on even the smaller time frames for all of the cryptocurrencies. So if we do fail to hold this area, we are definitely going to be showing some weakness in Bitcoin and just across the board and everything. So the target to get above and stay above not only is that prior top, but really the outer downtrend line, and that sits again about 4,600. So that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Again, I find it hard to believe that the sentiment is so high right now and that everyone is like, that's it, this is the final bottom, like every other time was the final bottom. And you see the charts out there with all the arrows, and the targets are getting higher and higher and higher. I would not be surprised if tomorrow or today we see like 900 billion for the target for Bitcoin. Like, it would not surprise me. Like, insanity through the roof. Sentiment very high. The longs very high, over 60%. It stayed in that range for a very long time. So the market is heavily, heavily poised for this unicorn ride. And anytime I see that in any market, it's typically not a good sign. So all I can say is just be cautious. But if Bitcoin can really make some run, make a decent run from here and actually hold like outside of this downtrend line, and we actually start to break that bearish momentum, then I think we could potentially be changing the trend. In which case, not that the crazy price figures, like I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin 20,000, but I think Bitcoin could be on a nice little chop upward back into like maybe the 6s to relieve the selling pressure, maybe the 5s first, and then maybe the 6s thereafter from a longer term perspective. But it's not going to be an easy road. Again, I love the charts where it's just like this and that's it. Or you got like a little rocket ship, as in like price just travels that way because everyone is so glued. Not everyone, but the bulls are so glued on what happened here, and this is the bubble phase of the market, and it's over and it's done with. And you can see that the runs have only gotten smaller and smaller and smaller, even as we go from the 20,000 top, 6,000 bottom, to about the 12,000 top, to the 6,300 bottom, back up to the 9,600 top. So you notice how these moves are getting smaller now, and then back down to like 56, and then back up to about 84. And then obviously you can see, like, as I'm tracing this, these moves over time are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So again, people are looking at this, like the bulls, and they're extrapolating this and just thinking that it's just magically just gonna go like this straight up, like everyone's been talking about. But that's during the bubble phase, and after the bubble phase, that's it. The market never looks the same thereafter. It takes the market a very, very long time. The same thing happened during the tech bubble in the NASDAQ. Everyone thought it could only go to the moon, and that was the only way it was going to go, and then it imploded on itself. And even on the backside, everyone thought it was going to go to the moon. It was the best buying opportunity of a lifetime. You only had to hold it 15 years to break even, but it was the best opportunity of a lifetime. So for some people, holding 15 years isn't a big deal, and if you're in that crowd, there's no reason you should be watching any of these videos. You should literally just forget about it until 15, 20 years down the road, or if there's another crazy, wild run. But outside of like that, this market is going to chop. It's not going to be this fantasy land unicorn ride that a lot of these bulls are looking for to the moon. And I know why people talk about it on social media that way. It's because they want the subscribers. It's what sells. That sexy story of like going from here, as in like, you're eating ramen noodles, and up here you're driving like 400 different Lamborghinis, and you got like 10,000 yachts and homes all over the planet, and even on the backside of the moon, because that's where you had to pick up those Lamborghinis. So that market is not here. So I think like the best expectations are like a choppy market, that if it can start to set some higher lows and higher highs, I think this is what people should expect. Obviously not that steep of a line. There's going to be a nice ebb and flow to it, something like that. Like nothing's ever that perfect, but that should be the expectations of people, not these crazy wild runs. And right now it's kind of like, well, it's just a guy on YouTube talking about it. But I think over time you'll start to realize, like, if this video could be like pinned somewhere 1 year down the road, and Bitcoin is going to hold this range and start to pump upward, then I would bet like a lot that this market, if it does decide to move up, it's going to look something like more like this. It's not going to look like this, like people are looking at. But anyways, so that's it. Just a little rambling at the end. I do appreciate everyone's time, everyone's support. I appreciate it all. And I'll do another video on Monday. I hope everybody has a great weekend, great night, great day, depending on where you are in the world. And that's it. So take it easy.